Hey guys, thank you for joining us on another episode. With me, as usual, is my boy Joe.
Woo!
He's quite fired up, and we are now on episode 6, and we're going to be actually covering a quite important topic, in my opinion, and that is work and life balance. Yeah, what does work mean to you, Joe?
That's a great question. Work for me as primarily an artist means that I have to wear a multitude of hats. I have to do a ton of different things. I have to be a marketer, a manager, an accountant, an artist, so on and so forth. And now that Andre and I are starting to get into podcasts, I'm a podcaster. And now that Andre and I are kind of starting to get into YouTube, I'm a YouTuber. And with my partner, I'm a blogger. And it is really difficult to manage that work life balance. I think the hardest thing that I've done out of all those things and the things that I've done in my past is actually try to balance a healthy environment around all of that. And what about you, Andre? Like, give the audience some insight into what you do now and what you did in the past and how you're kind of moving into this new space.
Yeah, so I'm not quite lucky as you. I still have my 9 to 5 gig that I do. I mean, obviously, for a lot of people, that 9 to 5 does pay the bills, but that doesn't mean that you have to have that define you. That 9 to 5 at this time is literally just a um, paycheck at this point, to basically pay the bills. But, that is basically 8 hours out of my day. The rest of the time, there's still a lot of time to go that I can actually enjoy doing what I like to do. So, you know started my Instagram, YouTube, and podcast with Joseph, which is something that both of us are really passionate about. And again, thank you guys for anyone that is listening and that has followed us throughout these episodes. We do appreciate it. Um, but yeah, it does at times seem like it's quite a bit. The last thing I want to do sometimes is come home from, a shift and start putting more hours into something that I am passionate about. At that point, it can feel like a chore. It can feel like something that you don't want to do, but you kind of have to sort of go through it. You know what I mean? The passion is sort of fading away. So this is basically what this episode is all about: having that healthy balance. First, before we jump into the other topic, Joe, you're right now in Colombia. Can you give the audience a little bit of a overview?
Okay, actually, let's just do a quick little refresh. I'm not in Colombia, I'm in Mexico. I'm actually in Oaxaca for the Days of the Dead, and it's absolutely fantastic, a life-changing experience. I think it's a beautiful way to look at death. They don't see death as something that's an ending. They actually look at it as an eternity. And these couple days that they celebrate the Day of the Dead, they believe that it's much easier for the spirits of their past relatives to commune with them. So I think it's a beautiful way of looking at it. And let's take another step back. I'm actually not lucky. I'm actually just so fucking driven and so fucking motivated that I didn't want to be in the 9 to 5. It wasn't comfortable for me to leave that. I didn't have a ton of money saved up. I didn't have a job lined up. I didn't have art that was selling. I didn't have any of this going for me. It was just something that I had kind of said, I'm going to do it. I'm fed up with this kind of agenda for somebody else. Why am I living for them? I kind of heard that you retire at around 60 and then the average life expectancy is around 70. Why would I spend 10 years of my life for me? You know what I mean? Once I retire, I think that that's absolutely ridiculous. So this work life balance episode, I think, is so important because regardless of what I do, I'm so fucking passionate about all of it. Andre just mentioned that like it can be draining, right? It can be draining at times, but I love talking shit with Andre. I love it.
So yeah, you basically took the risk, is what you're saying. You didn't know what the outcome was going to be. And I think to a lot of people, that's sort of the struggle. It's like, that fear behind, like, oh, what if I quit my 9 to 5 job? What if this doesn't work out? My job won't be available. I have all these bills to pay. I have my mortgage, I have my kids, I have my car, whatever it might be. You know what I mean? So all these different types of fear are actually building up. So it makes it almost impossible for people to actually enjoy basically what you're doing at this point, traveling, doing a blog, basically working for yourself. So I'm really happy to see that. And yeah, that brings us to the next point, balancing the work and life. Obviously, putting in those hours can be challenging, which means you cannot forget to reward yourself at times. You have to make sure you give yourself enough time to balance your work and life. That's where daily habits, that's where the schedules. And if you guys don't know how to, create a nice daily habit, I would suggest going through a few of our episodes that actually explain, and give you a bit of a guideline and hopefully help you create some of those daily habits. That way you have some kind of structure in that sense. But yeah, basically going through the life outside of work, enjoying yourself, giving yourself a few hours to actually treat yourself in a way.
By the way, Andre, let's just tell the audience right now if you guys are interested in us giving you a product of some sort, maybe a PDF that you guys can download, just with some things that we do to balance our work-life balance, maybe like a little habitual schedule. Let us know in the comment section below, and we'll get right on that because I love harassing the shit out of Andre to do all this crazy stuff with me.
That's funny.
Like one of my favorite things.
He already challenged me to have a six pack by, what is it, January?
It's by
And
January. Woo!
definitely working towards that. So I got to make sure I don't treat myself too much. But, one really good example for me, I basically did the grind, and yesterday I treated myself and my girlfriend to a nice steak dinner. I went out and bought 2 pieces of nice big fat steaks, cooked them up with some potatoes and some veggies. So that's something that I do enjoy, treating myself. And again, that work and life balance is really important, because you are going to be some days where you're going to be feeling like crap. You don't want to put any more energy into anything. You feel like you're drained. So it is really important not to get burned out, and also treating yourself. If you had a few days where you grind really hard, give yourself that one day and treat yourself. Do whatever you need to do. Go spend the day with your girlfriend or your kids or your dog, whatever it needs to. Go on a solo date, whatever it needs to be to treat yourself.
Absolutely. And but that doesn't mean, you guys, that it's like a say all, do all, you can go and just gorge. What Andre and I talked about before is like everything that you do is still being taken in. So yeah, if you are gonna take an off day from all that running, make sure you stretch if you get the analogy. You know what I mean? Like, Andre didn't go out and buy 16 donuts and 5 chocolate bars and split them between him and his girlfriend.
I would have loved
No,
it.
he got a good quality, he would have loved to, but he got a good quality piece of meat and so on and so forth and treated himself in another way. So it's the quality of how you treat yourself as well, you guys. Like, I want you guys to keep that in mind. uh, you won't be that person that you want to be in the future unless you want to. And you totally can if that's something that you can work into your work life balance. If you're willing to go hit the gym just that extra bit harder, that 15 minutes extra a day to work off those donuts, please do and show us that you can.
I was just about to say
Um,
that. That is a really good point you bring up. That doesn't mean like I am really about living a healthy lifestyle. But that doesn't mean that you cannot treat yourself. So as Joseph mentioned, if you do want to treat yourself on like a Sunday, have like that cheat day, whatever, a cheat meal, just put in a little bit of extra work during the other days where you are actually eating good, and then you'll be actually able to give yourself that one day of your off day and actually just enjoy life, being able to eat whatever you want, not having a diet plan or whatever, basically throwing that out of the window. So again, that's where that balance comes into play. It really depends what you want in life, but you have to make sure you balance your scale.
So important, balance. And this kind of just leads us to what Andre and I were talking about personally outside of the podcast. Is Andre said, well, man, I want to work up to this and I want to be that. And I said, well, Andre, like, look at how far you've come. You're not giving yourself enough credit. And this is where we kind of branch out into there's a balance on your personal perspective, how you see yourself, your skills, your strengths, your weaknesses, right? Just look at yourself now and look at yourself 6 months in the past. Are you the same person? And if you are, you definitely need to be listening to this. If you aren't, I am super stoked for you. And I want to encourage you to keep listening to this because you're obviously doing something right. And hopefully we're a part of it. Um, Andre, like when we were talking earlier, Andre was kind of like, holy shit, man. He's like, that hit me like huge. He's like, I never even thought about myself that way before. Like, what was running through your head after we had kind of, touched the tip of the iceberg?
Well, it it definitely shows what kind of character you are. Basically, I'm one of those people that doesn't take a lot of credit. I would say, I would always see myself as that shy guy, and just seeing yourself almost like putting yourself down in a way. But at the end of the day, you guys gotta love yourself before you start any type of growth. And talking about this balance and everything, and anything before you start, you do have to love yourself, before even beginning any type of financial health or whatever growth you need in your life. So that's one challenge that I'm still struggling with, is giving myself credit and actually patting myself on the back for doing a good job, for eating healthy throughout the week, for hitting the gym 5 or 6 times a week, whatever it is that you are proud of in your life. Give yourself that credit, you guys. You deserve it.
Like, honestly, you guys, it is beyond important. And just going to give a shout out to Andre here because typically I heckle him and I harass him and I fucking chase him down every single day and harass him with just content and things that I think he should do and blah, blah, blah. And I've had terrible Wi-Fi the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 days, and I haven't been able to get in touch with Andre really to have a real conversation. And you know what? This guy comes to me and he says, "Man, have you done this, and this?" Like, he is on top of it without me even mentioning a word. So kudos to you, Andre.
Thank you, bro.
You don't need anybody but yourself, man. You make it happen.
I appreciate that.
So
And that's where it is really good to have a partner in crime. You guys don't have to take this road yourself. Finding somebody that has similar goals and wants similar things in life, and partnering up with them doesn't mean that you have to share your life with them, but it can mean that you can now work towards your similar goals together. It will make it so much easier, and you guys will both hold yourself accountable at the end of the day. And that's what Joe does really well to me. If I have an off day, he'll make sure to let me know, hey, like, what's going on, where's your content, what have you done today. So it really keeps you on your toes.
exactly. And just bringing that back to full circle here, having that second person gives me a little more time to balance my work life balance. It just gives me that little extra, like, hey, Andre, I'm not going to be able to do this week, but we need to make sure that this content gets out. Are you available? And he's like, shit, man, I'm not. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it now. Or he's like, yes, I absolutely can. It just gives you that little bit of freedom. And I think that both of us can agree that it's definitely a huge help for even just one person to say, okay, I'll do, one half of this. And then if you can finish the other half, that would be absolutely awesome. Awesome. Because we both have, like Andre said, we both come back from doing what we've done and we're a little tired and there's a little bit of lack of motivation. But once I give this guy a shout, he is the hype man. I'm pumped. Like I'm super jazzed. And I'm like, you know what? I no longer am I tired. I'm ready to just do what we got to do to get this done.
That's right. I mean,
So,
it's almost 2 a.m. where you are right now, and we're doing a podcast right now. So that shows you guys that, Joe is ready to go anytime I call him. And it doesn't matter what type of day I have, I am ready to go when he calls me. So um, I cannot stress how important it is to have somebody with you in your life to share this journey. No matter how hard it is, obviously you won't see a lot of growth in the beginning, but once you do start building traction, get ready, guys, because it will pick up quick. So that's where that work life balance comes in super, super handy, because if you don't balance your work, you will burn yourself out before you even build traction.
awesome. So, personal perspective, guys, having that second person can kind of just give you a little bit of insight into you inside of your own bubble and can help burst that bubble and help get you out. Before we leave, I want you guys to give yourself some love, some gratitude, a pat on the back, a hug, whatever it needs to be. If you guys have time, if you guys can't reach us on any other platforms, our podcasts are on YouTube, Anchor, Spotify, Google Play Store, so on and so forth. We have an Instagram. It's at ANJ Inspiration. Check it out. That is daily content that will hopefully inspire and motivate you guys. It inspires and motivates us to keep it going. Until then, you guys, stay classy.
I like that. Okay.